All right, we call the meeting to order. Commissioner Gabe, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. We have an addition to our agenda before we approve it. New number 9 will be an updated promo list that we received this morning from the fair manager. So that will be an addition, and then everything will go down a number after that. With that, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Move.
Motion by Weiss.
Second.
Second by Gage. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. At this point, we'll open the meeting up for any public comment for any topic that's not on the agenda. Anyone wish to address the commission this morning? In person, out there on the phone, or online? Seeing none, we will move on. Public hearing for a temporary alcohol malt beverage permit in conjunction with the special events for Spurs.
Notice of hearing for special event alcoholic beverage license. Notice is hereby given according to South Dakota Codified Law 35-2 and 35-4-124. A public hearing on the following special event alcoholic beverage license malt beverage. Application is set for the 13th day of August 2024. In the chambers of the Brown County Commissioners in the Courthouse Annex, Brown County, South Dakota, at which time any interested persons wishing to register a complaint on their approval may appear. Spurs Therapeutic Riding Center, Aberdeen, South Dakota, Spurs 2nd Edition, northwest quarter of Section 6, Township 123 North, Range 63 West. Brown County, South Dakota, temporary special event alcohol license effective September 14th, 2024.
Is there anyone here to speak to this temporary alcohol permit? Anyone at all? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Move.
Motion by Weiss.
Second.
Second by Feldheim. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next up, public hearing for malt beverage license transfers. First one up is Stacy Gosman doing business as Bergie's to County Line Developers.
Notice is hereby given according to South Codified Law 35-2-5, a public hearing on the transfer of retail on-off sale malt beverage and South Dakota Farm Wine License is set for the 13th day of August 2024 in the chambers of Brown County, South Dakota, at which time any interested persons wishing to register a complaint on their approval may appear. Transfer of retail on-off sale malt beverage and South Dakota Farm Wine. Stacy Gosman doing business as Bergie's to transfer license located at 2520 8th Avenue Northeast, Lot 1, Ronnie's Way Addition, Suite E, northwest quarter of Section 17, Township 123, Range 63 of the 5th PM, Brown County to County Line Developers, LLC, doing business as County Line Club, located at 2035 8th Avenue Northwest, Suite 1, Lot 1-2, northeast quarter of Section 15, Township 123, Range 64 of the 5th PM.
Mr. Gosman, do you want to explain to us what you're doing here?
Selling off some property and some licenses.
Okay. We'll handle these individually. Is there anyone wish to speak to the transfer of the license for Bergie's?
Can I propose that we...
If you would introduce yourself, please.
Yes. Mariah Bloom, attorney for Jordan Investment Group. And I would ask that I and Mr. Bill Oakes, if we could sit beside each other, and if we could just deal with all of them, kind of to save time, I think that would be a lot easier.
Sure.
Mr. Oakes,
Yeah.
are you okay with sitting
Sure.
next to me?
Well,
Yep.
for most of us, this has been a 2-week thing that we've dealt with. Unfortunately for me, I've been dealing with for 3 years. This guy used to be my friend. Till I got sick of having these licenses forced down my throat and threatened to be brought into the city and sold. So, if anybody thinks there's any intention other than that, now we're to the point now where they're being sold, obviously, and the location of them, if you look, is right here. I know this is kind of hard to read, literally 2 miles into the city from our north border, 2 miles into the city from our east border, and just because it's a piece of land that sat there and didn't get annexed, for how many years, I mean, the land is almost worthless because it's in the floodplain and it needs to be built up so much that, it'd be hard to do anything with it, for starters. That's another reason it's probably not city by now. I know we're not here to argue about the licenses being transferred and everything. There'll be another day when we actually do see a building permit and we actually see what they wanna do there. Until then, I don't see how anything is approved or denied, I guess. The part on the west side of town, that one baffles me. If you look at this here, these are the new city lines, and that is actually it. These are the new city lines that have been drawn with the annex, and then the map is on the city of Aberdeen. And now, their spot for their 4 licenses and casino that they want to transfer is literally 1 mile inside the city limits, and I don't know how many miles from north to south, and from east it's like 7 or 8. So, these guys, and this is a close-up of the view of the annex. This is the part that was annexed, but magically, this little spot on the corner was left out of the annex for somebody looking to buy 4 county licenses. And I know we can get into all the legal mumbo-jumbo, but someday, though, there has to be a conscious decision by you guys to understand right from wrong. Plain wrong, what these guys are trying to do. If we want more licenses in the city, there's a process. And they don't just get awarded to one group of guys. The city first decides that they want to issue some new licenses, along with an annex, and we all get to bid on those licenses. They don't go to one group of guys just because they've managed to scam their way into this project and literally discredit all of us city liquor license holders. You'll never make me understand that one. Other than I do understand the legal part of it. I get the very first day you guys tried to deny this, Rod Tobin's probably going to have a subpoena right on your desk about the legal part of it. Not my issue. You let this get this far by letting one guy acquire over half of the licenses available in Brown County. And when you're directly responsible.
A third.
Well, I was
Get the number right.
told by Tyler Dinger it was over half of the county
I
license.
don't think that I was the one that said that.
Yeah,
but
you were.
I talked to you about that.
You said that. Well, regardless, they're licenses that haven't been used in years. 4 of them just got finally put into play in a 40-machine casino on the east side of town. And granted, all of these licenses that are supposed to be out in the county somehow were given to a guy less than half a mile from town. And yet, I talked to Drew Dennert about this. You know there's been an issue with us, but yet you sit here and don't do anything about the part about use them or lose them. You know, and that's the big difference between the city and the county. If you had rules in place that made sense, we would not be in this situation. Because these licenses would be out with little guys in the county. The little guy anymore has no chance, the way this is set up, to go out and buy themselves a liquor license and have video lottery. The only way they can do it is to have a liquor license, an economic development license, the city issues. So, at the end of the day, I know, Drew, you said to somebody yesterday, I'm still on the fence, I haven't seen enough opposition. Well, trust me, this hasn't been out in the light long enough, and we haven't made people aware of it enough. We, the city people that are concerned about this, we don't watch every county commission meeting. We don't watch every city commission meeting. Things fly by us, we don't know. But when things like this do come across, we expect our county commission to do the right thing. And that isn't just a plant. 8 new licenses inside of our city limits, no matter how you look at it, just because why the city would let this happen is I mean, I'd really need to get a reason why these 2 little plots on 8th Avenue Northwest, on that whole area that just got annexed, would remain county. In my eyes, that's just for one reason. So they could bring these county licenses in and stick a knife in the back of the city license holders. And yeah, that's really all I got to say. If it goes, it goes. I've been dealing with this for 3 years, like I said. I've lost friendships, and people don't want to get involved because of all the people that are involved. That's one reason why you have not seen any opposition. I mean, they just don't want to get involved, like a lot of the county issues. The vote, for one. You know, look what it takes for a county commissioner to get voted in. There isn't a lot of votes there relative to the population. It just isn't something we do. But when problems do come up, like this one, and Dwayne, I have no idea why you're telling people that it's been approved. What's been approved? Can you tell us that?
I received
Really
two phone
good
calls.
news,
I received two phone calls yesterday, and what I told them were the liquor license were approved late last year. So the
What liquor
licenses-
license?
The 8 liquor licenses that were issued to Mr. Goss.
So they're all liquor licenses?
Malt beverage
Eight.
malt beverage license.
Okay.
Two
Well,
liquor
that's,
sticks beer.
that's the
They
thing.
were all
Okay.
approved late last year.
Well, I mean, I
We
think
had
there's
we had no good reason, excuse me, to deny them.
no good reason. You don't see anything wrong with it? You can honestly look at it and say, you know what? I don't see this for what it is.
It's a free world. He can apply for license.
It is.
There's no
It is a
limit
free
on
world, you're right.
the county has no limit on the number of either malt beverage licenses or video lottery licenses. So what good reason would we have had to deny him?
Because they're a mile inside the city from two different
Why
directions.
would that make any difference to us? It's revenue for the county.
Dwayne, I'm glad you said it. Just keep thinking that.
It's revenue
thinking
for
that,
the
and
county.
people of Aberdeen
We're
can
watching
see
out
right
for
through
the
it.
taxpayers of this county.
Yeah.
It's
And I
revenue
am
for
one
the
too, and
county.
so are we, and also of the city.
So we had no good reason to deny it.
Well, all right, and this meeting is a little bit irrelevant. When we see plans and a building permit, we'll be back. You know, that's...
And then we'll have something to base decisions on
Yeah.
also.
Well, now you know a little bit more about it.
We do.
I'd love to know the history of why those parcels weren't annexed into the city.
Exactly, and why the one...
I don't think that's a county's thing.
It is
I
not.
think that falls
No,
under
it's
the
the
city why they
previous
weren't
owner that
annexed.
had a liquor license and held the city hostage over it because they wouldn't make it a city license. And you can talk to any city commissioner you want about that. I've talked to almost all of them. So,
And that's out of our control, what the city annexed.
I get it, I get all that, Dwayne, but, you know, and all the legal stuff, but there is still right and wrong. And however you want, this is a ploy. We've already given the tax increment financing out on the west side. We all know what tax increment financing is for somebody like this. We've given them that gift. We've laid the red carpet out for them, and now they've managed to stick the final nail in the coffin and get their plan out there. And somehow they managed to single out a little plot along the bypass, a good spot for their 40-machine casino and their 4 licenses.
And what the city annexes is totally out of our control.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more with that part.
We can't dictate what they do.
You know, as
until-
long as the people can see this for what it is, and hopefully at the end of the day won't support them after you guys approve them, I just hope that they won't support them, you know? That's all I can hope for. Because you certainly do, sir. You certainly support it. You've been pushing to get this passed, and I've had conversations with you about it, and they weren't friendly, and I know what your motivation is. I do, Dwayne.
I don't know what my motivation is.
I wouldn't expect you to say anything else.
Anyone else have anything to add? Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. So I will jump off on Commissioner Sutton's statement on this is revenue for the county. So at this point, it is well known that if you allow for the transfer of these licenses, the malt beverage and the other licenses in 5, 6, and 7, that these will then be annexed into, or there will be asked to be annexed into the city's limits. I did bring with me the previous proposal, and I will then be able to answer your question as well as why there is such a strange outline to the map. So in March of 2023, there was an attempt to annex already into the city, and the city gave particular conditions and stipulations. Mr. Gosman did not like those stipulations, and he did not sign that resolution. So that brings us here today with a different entity, now trying to do the same thing. So that, for one, we know that then you're not gonna get the revenue that you expect to get with these. So I wanted to first address that with you, and then I also wanted to address with you the issue of, that Mr. Oaks did, about this being developed, this land is undeveloped. There's the floodway, we know that, we also know it's not a suitable location, it's undeveloped, it's a vacant lot, and also, according to even the city in their resolution, they had an issue with the access configuration. I understand, Mr. Gage, that...
How come I have permits then?
Well, that was what I was just about to address. I understand, Mr. Gage, that that necessarily isn't your concern with zoning, that kind of stuff they have to figure out with the water issues, but we have a concern...
With the water.
With the water, yeah.
Not
Yep.
the rest.
Right, not with the rest,
Yep.
yeah. And so certain things, that's they're figuring out. But for you guys, you have to have a concern over the safety. And so an access point, that's safety. We also have concerns over...
What about access points for the bank and for the new, man caves? And they got the same I'm sorry.
Stacy, you'll be given a chance
I'm
to
sorry.
rebut whatever they have to say.
So when we're talking about not just an access point, I've driven numerous times over both of these proposed areas, and I'm sure all of you commissioners have as well during all of this, and these spots are quite inappropriate for what's being proposed. So I even did talk to Mr. Dennert, and I would like to see some sort of safety study, some sort of traffic study on that. I also do understand that the city and county are different, and that the city is held accountable for annexing, and that the county is not. That's why I wanted to bring this resolution. That's why I wanted you guys to understand where we were at in March of 2023. So as Mr. Oaks said, this isn't a 2-week thing. We've been working on this for a long time. And although it's a different entity, we want to stop it here. We don't want to let it get to the city, because the next person that brings it to the city, they may be able to handle these conditions, and they may be able to do what is the stipulations of the city. So we're asking you guys to step up and say, hey, we have a county, we have a duty to the people that vote for us, our constituents, and we have a duty in the investment of our county land, and that we need to properly make sure that that investment in our land is done properly, and that we're not going to lose the investment in our land that we could possibly make revenue off of. Thank you.
Also, I'd like to want to add one other thing. I know that I've talked to Drew about getting something on the books that first of all shows a radius around our furthest most points in the city of Aberdeen, or something, to get a designation, even if there is county land inside the city. Of course, there's plenty of different places where that happens, but there can be a radius around the city that says no county licenses inside of these, no matter what. And to allow one guy over all this period of time to collect all these licenses, and someone else hadn't been using those licenses, where's that tax revenue? You know, those licenses could have been given to somebody else.
I don't understand who hasn't been using the license.
Well, who knows who would have been who wanted to use them when they weren't available.
They've always been available in the county.
Well,
We have no limit on malt beverage license.
but you do understand that we operate on a different set of rules, right?
Who's we?
We, the city license holders, against the county license holders.
Absolutely, the city has
Okay.
limits, the county doesn't.
So then, up there on
That's
8th
law.
Avenue, this is what we're gonna have going. You got a gas station with a casino, and now you're gonna have this other thing, kitty corner from it, with 30 or 40 casinos. But this guy's gonna operate on a whole different set of rules than this guy is, literally at the same intersection.
And that's out of our control, sir. We can't dictate what the city has for rules, but South Dakota codified law states that they have rules and we have rules.
Yeah.
We live by ours, they live by theirs.
Okay.
Mr. Weiss, did you have something, Commissioner?
That was the point I wanted to make, is that the rules about within city limits and outside city limits when it comes to liquor licenses are established by the state. We don't make those rules that say, okay, you've got a certain number of licenses based on the population of the city within its city
Right.
limits. And you're
So
absolutely right.
the county's just unlimited, no limit on the county licenses.
Yeah,
in Lauderdale.
by
That's
state
right.
law.
That's right.
For malt beverage.
For
There is
malt
the
beverage.
For liquor.
Right.
With video lottery attached.
That's,
All of them have video lottery.
that's,
Each malt beverage license can have 10 video lottery machines.
And the liquor-
that's because of state law. That's not our decision to make that. And historically, denial of a liquor license, either as an initial application or a renewal, is based on ownership and management not properly following
I understand
state
the whole
laws.
legal part of it.
Okay, because we're busy.
I do.
You know, we're enforcing state law, but if we don't have justification based on state law for denial, then we're the ones that get in trouble on this. And so you're absolutely right, this is a crazy kind of a situation, and, you know.
And you have opposition, and trust me, there will be a lot more.
I understand.
I have 700 people a week that walk through the doors of our place. If is that what you want, I refuse to put your phone numbers on the internet. I didn't want that.
My phone number's out there, I don't have a problem with that.
Well, it doesn't mean that it has to be on
I
social
don't
media
have-
saying, call these guys. That's not what we want to get
But
to.
calling doesn't change the legal situation.
It creates opposition.
That's fine.
Yeah, so
That's
you're
fine.
saying that if there's enough opposition that these,
I didn't say that at all.
well, that sounds like what you're
No,
getting
no,
at.
no, I'm saying that the law is prescribed, and there's a clear difference between the rules for the county issuing malt beverage licenses and the
Right.
rules for
And there's
cities.
rules for opposition too, right?
There's,
And you guys can make a decision based on opposition,
No,
not to
no.
allow something.
no, no.
Then what are we doing here?
You're expressing your concern, and it's a legitimate concern, absolutely.
It doesn't
But
seem though it's
bottom-
legitimate. The county has let this go on for who knows how long, turned a blind eye to it. This is what it takes to get the county commission to act on something and make something known? We have to go this far?
If-
I don't want to be involved in politics. I hate sitting here talking to you guys. It's not me. I'd rather be in my boat,
Mhm.
trust me.
I understand.
It's not something I like. If I wanted to be in politics, I'd run for it. But I do expect the county commission to do the right thing. And in this situation, it would be to let the city commission decide, because this is clearly inside the city limits.
The city council doesn't have jurisdiction over these. I wish they did. Those properties should have been annexed. There's been deals made, and not to point fingers, but I'm a bit of a hack historian. And if you want to go back, you know, give or take 100 years, there was a deal made way back when, for instance, Kaoli Manufacturing, not to be annexed in order to do what they were doing within city limits for that economic activity. So, you know, these kinds of things have been going on an awful long time, and, you know,
Not this kind of thing. Not
well,
kind of
this
thing.
is a new version of it.
Well, if
You
you
know,
wanna
I've
call
been
it
in
that, yeah.
conversations when I did planning and zoning for 20 years, and there was conversations that the city said, we need to square up the city limits of Aberdeen, and should do that, but that's never happened, and you're absolutely right, it should happen. But we're not in
There's
control.
no reason for it on
We're not
farmland
in
that wants to be farmed. There's
We're
no
not in
reason to
control of
square
that. Now, I will say, I've got an issue with one of these two, and that's the one on the west side of town, because currently, and it's a chicken or egg kind of deal, which one comes first. The 8th Avenue Northeast location is currently zoned highway commercial, so that activity is a permitted activity in that zone. Now, currently, the northwest location, is my understanding, is zoned as mini ag. Now, the establishment selling liquor is not currently a permitted use for that type of zoning. Now, that's not to say that can't change, but at this moment, that particular piece of property isn't zoned for that purpose, so I've got an issue with that. And I'm just gonna say that, so we know where we're at on this, okay? All right, I'm done with my piece.
Okay. Anyone else have any comments?
Can
Yeah.
I just want
Go
to
ahead.
make one more thing, and I'm not speaking on Mr. Oaks, but I think what is most relevant here that you guys can control is that state law does not say whether or not the license has to be used. That's something that you guys can determine. You can look at this and say, hey, these licenses are not going to be able to be used in 6 months because where they're proposing, this land is undeveloped. It's a lot. We haven't seen plans. We know that there's issues. We know that it's a floodway. And so you guys have the ability to say, hey, you either use this license in a certain amount of time or you lose it. And I think that is where we're coming from. And we're not saying, you know, be the city, but by state law, there's no requirement that you guys don't have that. Thank you. I just wanted to add that. Thank you.
That is a true statement, and we'll take that under advisement and see if our legal counsel agrees that we should add that to our ordinance, because it's not currently there. Anyone else wish to address the commission on this?
And I would
Go
just say,
ahead.
to get an opinion with whether or not it's within our authority to do such a thing.
Exactly. It's not a conversation that we've had at all, but we will follow up and see what, if any, jurisdiction or authority we would have to impose limits or require use within a certain amount of time. Anyone else on this
Just
topic?
me, I just wanna be last. If anybody else wants to say anything else, and before I say my piece, I got no problem.
Anyone else wish to speak before Mr. Gosman? Stacy, come on in.
If you don't mind, I'll stand right here if it's okay. We put the specs on. All right, to all concerned here, I just want to tell you something. That man over there in the red, it's not his fault. Everybody says everybody's pointing their fingers at the county commission. Where was everybody when I was going through this? There was nobody here to object. Even he asked. It's on film. He asked. He goes, I can't believe anybody's not here to object. Look back at the video. Look back at the video. The videos don't lie. All right. If you want to blame somebody, blame your city council. Blame your city council. Mr. Kessler was there the day that they pushed me back into the county. That's what they did. They pushed me back into the county, and I'm glad they did too. I appreciate it. All right. They told me to go ahead and build something. So I tore all them trees out of there, and I tore that building down, and I built that ground up. And it's not in the floodway. It's in the floodplain. I got another piece over there that's in the floodway. And yeah, I can build on that too, because I brought it up out of with the Lomar. Did I not, Ron? Yes, I did.
Yeah,
Yes, I did. I got the Lomar for that.
Okay.
And what that is a map of revision. That means I can pull some dirt away from the creek, build up a spot, and I can build that there too. So that land is not worthless. Okay, it might have been worthless to you, or you. Ain't worthless to me. Okay, now I came down here, and what Mr. Weiss said, this is all has to do with the state. This has nothing to do with the county. The state issued me sales tax licenses for this. I'm ready to go. But the city of Aberdeen, is the one that put the kibosh on my first investment groups I had. I don't have the money like these guys got. So I lost it. No big deal. Now, we got the money again. Okay? But it's a little different now. So, if you want to blame anybody, blame Rob Ronayne. He's the one that gave me this idea to build it. You know? Okay, well, let's see here. Keeping my liquor licenses and shit all active, excuse my language, keeping them all active and being used. If I didn't do that, then how could I still buy beer and wine? Bill, you know the difference between that. You guys know the difference. I can't buy liquor. You can't buy liquor. And you saying that you've been working on this since last year, that's not true. That can't be true. Because I didn't have them other licenses. And those beer licenses, the only reason I got them to build that, it would be built right now. I got plans. You know, but now I don't have to worry about them no more because you guys put them on hold. Okay, your traffic risk, your dad said. The traffic risk down there. Huh. What about the new addition over there on the credit union? Don't they have railroad tracks on that side too? What about the new man caves over there? And those liquor licenses in that land, they ain't worth nothing. Well, and also, you guys told me, your dad said that he told me no on that. I had a meeting out there in your guys' office. We talked about that, did we not? Mm-hmm. And I told your dad no. I told him I already had a deal on the table. Yes, yeah, he was sitting right there. Chad's the one that called me for the meeting. Yeah. All right, and I did ask Bill about 3 years ago about liquor licenses. You betcha I have. But keeping them active and everything else, I have kept them active. You can ask anybody in this room. Other than that, see, the county property has to touch the city limits somewhere. It just so happens to be touching it on my property. That's not my fault. Actually, a good thing for me. And like I said, don't blame Bill Sutton. Bill, the reason why there was no opposition, and you even made a point yourself on your Facebook page that says it went completely under the radar. That's what you made a comment to a girl.
100%.
And yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's not my fault. It's not my fault though. I used.
No, can I ask you one question?
Sure.
Are you speaking for County Line Developers, or are you
No,
speaking
speaking for myself.
Okay.
Speaking for myself.
The issue is with County Line Developers. Our issue isn't with him. The guys that are proposing to do this on the property, I'm not sure where this part of it's coming from. He's not part of County Line Developers.
But I own them now, and they're gonna transfer them right now. That's why I'm here.
But, okay, I'm just
That's
wondering
fine.
who you're speaking for. Are you
Speaking for
yourself?
myself, Bill, I'm standing right here, right next to
Okay,
you.
all right.
And yeah, you're right, we used to be friends. Yeah, we did. And then crap like this got in the way, and I'm really sorry about that. And that's all I got to say, but other than that, guys, I mean, I totally understand where, you know, yeah, wait a second. No, I just wanna make the point, sir, I just wanna make the point, hold on, just I still got the floor.
One at a time.
I still got the floor, Mr. Kessler, just let me, hey, you stood up in front of me at the city level, and then you had enough guts to call me and ask me what I was gonna do with it after I did it. And you asked me if it was Toby behind me. Yeah, you did. You asked me if I was wanting to sell it to you. What'd I do? Told you, don't you ever call me again. That's what I told you. And I told you guys too. I said, I'm sorry. I said, but I've already got a deal going on this in your office. And if you're calling me a liar, like I said, then I'm a liar. Other than that, that's it.
Mr. Kessler, you have the floor.
Yeah, I didn't want to have the floor. It's the city council meeting. I just tried to sit and be quiet and listen, and that's all I was trying to do. But ultimately, you know, I'm here on behalf of Lamont Companies. For the record, I never offered to buy anything. B, I did call you and try to ask what was going on out there. We have 6 or 7 liquor licenses, city liquor licenses, of which we've purchased them all, and that's really all the reason I'm here is obviously concerned for the current liquor licenses that we have are obviously going to depreciate in value, and then ultimately the other concern is we have plenty of land around county lines that we could easily be doing the same thing, but we know it's not the right thing to do, and that's why we're not doing it. So where is the line drawn for the county, and what can the county do going forward to ensure this doesn't happen again? Nothing personal with Stacy or anybody else trying to do it. They're reading the law and doing what's best for them, and it is what it is, but obviously it's not the right thing from a right, wrong, you know, who's to say that, but ultimately it's obviously going to upset a lot of people that, you know, we've gone through the city, bought the restaurant license the right way, transferred thing, you know, just playing by the rules, and that's all that we care about. And I know you guys' hands are tied, and that's why I haven't really talked with Mike yesterday, but I think what can the county do going forward to try to stop this, because there's going to be probably more after this happens.
You're absolutely right, and the city has asked us if we would consider a limit on not only malt beverage licenses, but video lottery licenses within a certain radius of Aberdeen. So we have been asked that. We haven't really had a lot of discussion to that point, because at this point, like I stated, it's revenue for the county. There was really no good reason to impose any kind of limitations on it, but based on the conversation here today, maybe it's something we as a county need to discuss and possibly consider after we talk to our legal counsel. But I can't promise anything, excuse me, but it is a conversation we probably should have, so going forward we can eliminate these kind of problems.
Just in a general overview on that conversation, and it's something that I think we will absolutely pursue, but in a general way, by and large, without home rule charter, local entities, cities, counties, are only allowed to do what state law says they can do. And if a home rule charter is adopted, it flips the equation, allowing the local entity that has adopted a home rule charter to do anything that the state doesn't say they can't. Right now, we don't operate under a home rule charter, and I don't know where restrictions that we might consider placing on this, and I think it's appropriate for us to have that conversation falls in that, but just in a greater overview, that's kind of the general situation that we find ourselves in, that without a home rule charter, in general, we're restricted to only do the things that the state has specifically prescribed that we can do. And so, I think that's something we're definitely gonna see what options we do have. But, I do know that that's the general, rule of thumb when it comes to those kind of things.
Anyone else? Any other comments?
If I could
Go ahead,
say
Chad.
one quick thing. Chad Light, work for Donor Investment Group. And Stacy is correct, we did have a meeting about these licenses and whatnot, and it was offered to us to either join in them or purchase them, and we declined. You know what I mean? Once we realized, and I remember the conversation really well, Stacy, where Toby's biggest issue on that is what it would do for the city licenses. Obviously, we have numerous of them as well, and it wasn't just for ourselves, but just for all the others, the Lamonts and, you know, even the little guys. And, so we declined on that. There's no lying or anyone lied to it. We visited with it, and we weren't interested in it because what it would do to the city. So, I just want to clarify that.
Okay. Anyone else? Any more comments? We understand there's opposition to this. What we're merely doing today here is transferring the ownership of these licenses from one entity to another entity. They've already been approved. Late last year, they were all approved with literally no opposition, and now it's just a matter of transferring. What the city does as far as annexing, I don't know. I don't think anybody knows what their plan is. If there's a plan to annex, I don't know how that impacts. I think Aberdeen is already over in the number of licenses that they can legally have based on population. So that may enter into their decision whether or not to annex. I can't speak for them, I have no idea. Our legal counsel isn't here, so I don't know what the repercussions of this are, but...
I'd just like to reiterate one more thing. The city of Aberdeen told me to do what I did. That's what they told me to do, then they would welcome these licenses in. The city council of Aberdeen said that. Go back and look at the video. Everybody, just go back and look at the video. Just telling you. I won't lie.
And again, I'm unaware of what the city's intentions are. I don't know if anybody is, or how that affects it.
Well, if you're not aware, Dwayne, they didn't offer them sewer and water to put the project in. So if that doesn't tell you where the
Yeah, they
city
did.
stands on it.
They gave me that, and they gave me the permit for the approach, and then they yanked them away. Bullshit, I got copies of
Well,
it.
right out of the mayor's mouth was
Yeah.
told by me that they would not be getting sewer
Well,
and
you got
water.
paperwork, I do.
Oh.
Okay,
I-
just telling you.
Okay,
I've
that's
never
a
heard or seen
discussion
it.
for between the developer and the city. That's out of our control as well.
Well, I know for a fact that they weren't offered city and water, city sewer and water, and why should they be? They're not in the city,
Our house
apparently.
right next door has got city water and sewer, and they're not in the city either. Why do they get it, Bill? Why does somebody else get it and I don't? Tell me that.
Okay, we're not gonna turn this into an arguing match.
I'm sorry.
I'll make
I was
a
just
I'm gonna say
trying,
another
I
word.
was just trying to state that it must be the city's opinion that they're against it. Otherwise, they would be all for giving them sewer and water. So,
I don't know what the city's position is. I haven't discussed this with them, so.
Yeah,
Commissioner Denner?
just a comment, thanks, Dwayne. Appreciate, Mike, you looking up the mini egg and the commercial, that really helps. So to me, hearing all this, and there's the he said, she said talk about what was offered and what was rejected and what wasn't offered, to me, this needs to happen at a later date. The fact that we're trying to potentially move these licenses to something that's zoned as mini ag, I think we're getting the cart ahead of the horse.
Those licenses
So-
are not being moved over to Maniac. They're already there on that property and they're highway commercial right now. Ones we're talking about for me.
Talking about out west, so.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I
That's what
thought
I'm
we were talking
referring
about
to.
the ones that were...
On the ones out west, which I'm referring to what
Sorry about
Mike says mini ag, that's something that I think, after hearing what we've heard today, should probably go through the zoning process first. Whether or not that comes out, I don't know, I'm not on the zoning board. I don't know what that looks like, what the opposition or support is, or what that looks like. But after that does come to the zoning board, if it comes to the zoning board, to me, that's a conversation that we should probably be having at this table after that. So as far as the ones that are being transferred out west, I'm not gonna support that unless it goes through the zoning process first. Then we have a discussion today where we make a decision on an up or down. But I think on moving them to mini ag, I think we're getting the cart ahead of the horse. I'm not gonna support that.
Yeah, I'm not here for that part. I'm just here for my part. Is that, now let me
That's
ask you this. Are they moving 4 of these licenses that I've already got over there? I don't even know what they're doing. Okay, if that's what they're doing, that's their deal.
well, 3 of them.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, they're buying them today. Then they'll have their name on them. That's fine, I got no problem with that. What I'm saying is, and this is what everybody doesn't understand, my property already qualifies, and it's already there, and it's already been approved. These guys got the money to buy it, they're gonna stay right there. I think what he's trying to say is they don't wanna move them until after that other property gets,
But the, agenda number 5 is transferring them to county line developers. Ownership. Number 6 is updating location. So the updating location is going out west. That's what I'm saying, the zoning process needs to take place.
but they'll still transfer today.
Is that what they want?
Yes, they want them transferred today.
And I don't know if we can legally do that because we're transferring the licenses to properties that are not currently zoned for that use.
Well, what they'll have to do is they'll have to come back down and reapply to have them moved like I did. Right now, I think that what they're trying to do is just buy them and get them into their name, and then they'll move them if they want to.
Okay, and they're
No.
buying the licenses, and then you're gonna transfer the property that those licenses are currently on?
Yeah, the deal's already done.
Okay, so it's property and license for what's current.
Yes.
And then they've stacked on here, okay, we'd also like to transfer some of those licenses to a different address, which
Okay.
you're not part of.
Yep, that's not part of me, nope. I have no
Right.
part of County Line Developers.
So, and once County Line Developers does get control of this property, then we start over. There's a new building permit issued. That's when we'll be here to voice our opinions. I guess, I don't see how, just because he had a project approved on the corner of 8th and Roosevelt, that the people that buy it get the same approval. They have to go through the approval process again, I assume. Or does his building permit just carry over to the next people? I mean, I can't...
Ron, can you answer that? Is that transferable?
There's no building permit for...
He had a building permit.
I never had a building permit. I had a permit for concrete work to come for an approach.
Okay, so then,
Is what I had.
well, then nothing's been approved for there, as far as the building and what's going in it.
Correct.
That is correct.
Thank you, that's all I needed to hear.
Yep.
The malt beverage license is the only thing that's been approved by the county.
And that particular parcel
I own the
is...
property and licenses, and I got the property zoned and ready to go for it, and the city stopped me.
Right, so it's zoned highway commercial, and this is a permitted use for that zone.
And that's the first 3, the Bergies, the Tinkas, and the,
Okay, and actually those are the ones that are northwest.
those 3 are being moved to the northwest?
Yeah, those are the ones, not.
Birdie's, Tinkas.
Okay, so Big
They want
C's,
to, once
Annie's,
they
and
have
Ollie's
them.
wanna stay on northeast?
Yep.
Okay.
Transferring ownership doesn't transfer the location.
Nope, just transferring ownership does not. Then they'll have to come back down and reapply again and pay again to give you guys more money. So you're actually gonna make more money off.
So at that point,
Not enough to
Yeah.
make it worth all the hassle, but it's just...
That's the way it's gotta be done now. I know, but that's the way, legally, that's the way it's gotta be done. I've been through this.
so at that
last
point,
2
we
years.
can deny them based on the fact that it's not currently zoned for that use.
Yeah,
That's the way I understand our actions.
So you
Kim,
want-
you're okay with that?
They can own them where they are.
Yep.
Because that's no change whatsoever other than the owner.
Correct.
You own the licenses, they're out there.
I own licenses and land free and clear. Yes.
And at this
You're
point-
selling them
Yes.
to county line developers.
And at this point, we don't have any information to say that they're not a valid owner with a history that would preclude us from allowing that to happen.
You just wanna transfer ownership and not update location.
That's where I'm at, considering that it's not a permitted use for that location.
Transfer of ownership only.
Does that make sense?
It does, because like I said earlier, we can't transfer to mini ag. I think that zoning, when we can go through the zoning process first, why wouldn't we?
Mm-hmm.
That's a discussion that needs to be had before we're transferring licenses out there.
Yeah, and every action that we take, it's literally in the back of your mind, how do I defend this in court if I'm challenged? And transferring a liquor license to a piece of property that's not zoned for that purpose is probably not a good idea, and I think that's something that's defensible.
Right. So today, the action that we were gonna be taking is strictly transferring ownership from one entity to another entity. Nothing to do with relocating those
At
licenses.
the current location.
At
So
the current
anything that's-
northeast location,
Anything to
yeah.
do with transferring to that particular address, I agree, I'm not gonna be in favor of, and that's why I brought it up.
Any other discussion, any other comments, questions? Go ahead.
Can you confirm which so are you transferring all of them?
Ownership,
Yes, you're transferring all 6 of them?
Well, that's probably what we're about to do.
that's our plan at this
Okay.
point, yeah. But we're not gonna be approving any updated locations, just strictly the ownership transfer of the beverage, malt beverage licenses.
And the application, they're all on the Roosevelt? That's where they're all registered at?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
So we're strictly transferring ownership to another entity that will be at the northeast location only at this point, until they come in and make application for the transfer. And for us to approve that, we will probably make sure that it's zoned highway commercial before that can happen. It's the only way we can, because it's not a permitted use or illegal.
That's what I have to do for all of mine.
Any other questions? Otherwise, we'll handle these one at a time, just for clarification. If there's no further comments, questions, I would entertain a motion to transfer ownership of the Bergey's license from Stacy Gosman to County Line Developers.
Move.
Motion by Gage,
Second.
second by Weiss. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next up, transfer of the malt beverage license from Stacy Gosman for Tinkas, I think is how you pronounce it, to County Line Developers.
Keep going. Keep going.
Well, I thought you had to read them.
Do you want to read each one of them? Do you?
Did she want to?
I know she doesn't want to, but I think you have to. On
I think we read the first. We read the first one.
Individually, that's what I was
I'm
reading.
sorry, yes.
Yeah.
Transfer retail on-sale malt beverage in South Dakota Farm Wine from Stacy Gosman doing business with Tinkas to transfer license located at 2520 8th Avenue Northeast, Lot 1, Ronnie's Way Addition, Suite H, northwest quarter of Section 17, Township 123, Range 63 at 5 p.m., Brown County to County Line Developers, LLC, doing business as County Line Club.
Okay, any questions or further comments on this transfer? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Move.
Motion by Feldheim,
Second.
second by Gage. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Transfer of retail on off-sale malt beverage in South Dakota Farm Wine, Stacy Gosman doing business as Capone. The transfer license located at 2520 8th Avenue Northeast, Lot 1, Ronnie's Way Addition, Suite F, northwest quarter of Section 17, Township 123, Range 63 at the 5 p.m., Brown County to County Line Developers, LLC, doing business as County Line Club.
Any further discussion on this transfer? If not, entertain a motion to approve.
Move.
Motion by Gage,
Second.
second by Weiss. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next up, public hearing for malt beverage license transfers only.
Transfer retail on off-sale malt beverage in South Dakota Farm Wine, Stacy Gosman doing business as Big Z to transfer license to County Line Developers, LLC, doing business as County Line Club, Brown County, located at 2520 8th Avenue Northeast, Lot 1, Ronnie's Way Addition, northwest quarter of Section 17, Township 123, Range 63 of the 5th PM of Brown County.
Any questions, further comments on this transfer? If not, entertain a motion to approve.
And just to be clear, the motion would be to transfer but not to update the location?
Correct.
Only the transfer of the license, ownership, yes.
The location is the one that's North, 8th Avenue Northeast, right?
That's what it's saying.
That's what it's...
Is that what's on the sheet?
2520 8th Avenue Northeast.
So that is the location that's properly zoned.
Correct.
Okay.
Did we have, Commissioner Gage, did you make a motion?
I didn't. I
Okay,
can't
no.
make a motion to approve.
Okay, motion by Gage to approve, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Weiss. Excuse me, further discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Transfer retail on-off sale malt beverage in South Dakota Farm Wine, Stacy Gosman doing business as Annie's to transfer license to County Line Developers LLC, doing business as County Line Club, Brown County, located at 2520 8th Avenue Northeast, Lot 1, Ronnie's Way Addition, the northwest quarter of Section 17, Township 123, Range 63, at 5 p.m. of Brown County, South Dakota.
Right.
Same situation.
Excuse me?
Same situation.
Okay?
Yep.
Yes. Motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Feldheim. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Transfer retail on-off sale malt beverage in South Dakota Farm Wine, Stacy Gosman doing business as Ollie's to transfer license to County Line Developers LLC, doing business as County Line Club, Brown County, located at 2520 8th Avenue Northeast, Lot 1, Rodney's Way Addition, the northwest quarter of Section 17, Township 123, Range 63, of the 5th PM of Brown County, South Dakota.
Further discussion on this transfer? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Move.
Motion by Feldheim,
Second.
second by Weiss. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Once
Next.
again, I'd just, for the record, like to say that, there's plenty of opposition to this happening. However, at this point, I don't see any legally defensible reason to deny.
I agree, based on the amount of opposition we've heard here today, I think it behooves us as a commission to have a conversation with our legal counsel to see what our options are legally as far as doing any type of limitations within a certain radius of Aberdeen, look into those options, and to further protect the license holders within the city. We like to do the right thing also, but we've done everything up to this point based on what we're legally allowed to do, and as long as the people that have applied have jumped through the hoops, gone through the proper channels, we haven't had sufficient reason to deny any of these permits.
Correct.
We will look into it going forward. Mr.
I
Gosper?
do have one more thing to say to you as far as that goes. Totally understand, and I totally agree with you on that. There's big holes in the system between the two entities. Going forward, when you do, and I mean, this might be something that you might want to think about, looking at, out in Rapid City, there's that county out there, they have liquor licenses are class A, B, and C. So some are worth a hell of a lot more, some are worth a lot less, because the further you get away from Rapid, obviously they're going to be cheaper. Just like what Bill said, the smaller guy, out in the, I mean, there's all different kinds of, if you just go around and look at stuff like that, it can show you, and the same with your beer licenses and stuff like that too. You could do the same thing with that. But unfortunately, it wasn't done in this situation.
Okay, thank you. All right, next up, public hearing for the sale of alcohol beverages. This is the full-blown package off-sale liquor licenses, right?
Notice is hereby given according to South Dakota Codified Law 35-2-5, a public hearing on the application of a package off-sale liquor license is set for the 13th day of August 2024 in the chambers of the Brown County Commissioners, Brown County, South Dakota, at which time any interested persons wishing to register a complaint on their approval may appear. First is a purchase of package off-sale liquor, County Line Developers LLC, doing business as County Line Club, located at 2035 8th Avenue Northwest, Suite 4, Lot 1 and 2, northeast quarter of Section 15, Township 123, Range 64 of the 5th PM, Brown County, South Dakota. So that would be out there, so that's
Correct.
the one you would want.
Right.
And that is not currently zoned properly for the transfer of that liquor license, the way I understand it, is that
This one's not a transfer, this is a new purchase.
a new purchase, okay?
Yep.
So for that reason, at this point, I'm gonna make a motion to deny.
Second.
Can you make a motion in the negative? If we take no action, would that be the same? I'm just asking.
Yeah, I think it'd be best to...
Take some action.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion to deny the purchase of that package off-sale liquor license, and a second by Dennert. Sorry, first, motion by Weiss, second by Dennert. Is there any further discussion?
I'd like it noted in the minutes for findings of fact that the reason for the denial is that currently that piece of property, my understanding is not zoned for that particular purpose.
Okay.
Okay? So it's on the record. Thank you.
Any other comments regarding that purchase of that liquor license? And the reason we're denying or moving to not approve the purchase? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Second one is to purchase a package off-sale liquor for County Line Developers LLC, doing business as County Line Club located at 2528th Avenue Northeast, Suite 4, Lot 1, Ronnie's Way Addition, northwest quarter of Section 17, Township 123, Range 63 of the 5th PM, Brown County, South Dakota.
So this is a full-blown liquor license that would be used.
It's just a package off-sale.
Just package off
Yeah.
sale, okay.
Yeah.
Any questions, comments? Motions?
Move.
Motion by Feldheim to approve, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Gage, is there any further discussion, comments or questions as to what we're doing? This is for the 8th Avenue Northeast location. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Before we move on, I just want to thank everybody for showing up today and voicing your concerns and posing the questions. We clearly have some follow-up to do on our part. We will do that to hopefully eliminate the need for this in the future, and everybody made a lot of good points today, and we appreciate their time and their efforts, so thank you. Next up, first reading of ordinance 275, rezone.
Sorry about
Ordinance 275, an ordinance amending Title 4, Second Revision, Brown County Ordinances as amended to rezone certain described properties, filed by Nicole Kemp to go from Egg Preservation District to Mini Egg District.
Is there anyone here to speak to ordinance 275? Seeing none, entertain a motion to approve first reading. Move. Motion by Weiss.
Second.
Second by Feldheim. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next up, approve the updated promo list from the Brown County Fair Manager that was provided. This is a list of tickets that are provided by the fair to various entities and individuals.
I'll move it.
Motion by Dennert,
Second.
second by Weiss.
This one was in the packet?
Yes.
You didn't initial it.
Oh,
Just back page.
oh, sorry.
Any further discussion?
Look for it.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Get that far.
Next up, consent calendar.
Approval of the general meeting minutes of August 6th.
Move.
Motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Gage. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Should be just claims.
Move. Second.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Dennert. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
We're not paying people this week?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
It is payroll.
It is payroll, all right.
Our motion included payroll.
That motion included claims and
Claims and
payroll.
payroll, sorry.
As stated on the agenda, so we're good.
Did we get trouble now?
HR report.
We all got paid too, by the way, so just, if you wanna give it back.
Second.
Motion by Gage, second by Weiss. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Travel request.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Weiss. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Lease agreement.
Move.
Motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Gage. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Claim assignments.
Move. Second.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Weiss. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Any other business to come before the Brown County Commission this morning? We've had a request to go into executive session to discuss contracts. Anything legal that you need to talk to us about, Ross? HR does not need one for personnel today, first time for everything. Entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Move.
Motion by Weiss.
Second.
Second by Jenner. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are in exec. All right, we're back in session out of exec with no action as a result. Under other business, Judy has some information she's going to provide us regarding the courthouse restoration project.
Yes. We have to have the structural engineer guys come and check and see how much they gotta put up the scaffolding on the, to get up around the dome. And they don't know what the footprint of the scaffolding base and foundation for it is to hold all this weight on the scaffolding. We don't know, we have tried to find out, we have contacted like Dean Marcy from ACG. He doesn't have any information on what exactly is on our roof, you know, on the flat portion of the roof. When you go underneath of it, all you can see is, you know, it's got huge beams up there, but it's just like a clay tile. So we really don't know what's above the clay tile. The clay tile could have some cement up there, you know, which it probably does, you know, and then you have your plywood and your, you know, your rubber roofing and all that kind of stuff. But, they have to come and scan it and check it. And scanning it is gonna cost, $4,300 to do that. And then we have contact IMAG for them to come, because they're the structural engineer guys, to come and look at and read all the reports that this machine brings up for us to tell us what to do. And that total comes for, $7,800 for this one. I'm just letting you know.
So I kind of package it a little bit. The beautiful dome that we have, obviously the structural support for it is fine, but if we're gonna do some significant work with equipment around it, we're not completely sure the roof can support that without some issues. So we're trying to verify that to do the once in 100 years restoration on the dome, the structure around it has sufficient load-bearing capacity in order to do that work properly.
Right. When we did it way back, the guy did it off of, you know, when he painted and looked at the statue and painted the statue and painted the dome and stuff. He just did that by roofs and a little seat. You know, this is totally different because of what we're all encompassing and doing now. So there's basically this building of big scaffolding all the way around the dome, all the way up to the statue.
We're talking about getting into the skeleton of the dome structure to make sure. Okay. Just so we're kind of clear on the overall what's going on here.
Yep, that's what we're doing. Like I say, once they get up there and start getting into and getting the brick removed and stuff, and we see the structural ironwork done up there, you know, if we have to kind of reinforce it or something, so there'll be some more costs coming down the road.
That's good. I think it's good to be cautious considering what you recently found just in the floor.
Yeah.
Up there that had been covered up over the years.
Yep. So.
All right.
Always a process.
We're informed, and we're gonna put it on the agenda for next week for the official approval. But the folks are here and prepared to do it, so understanding that.
This was all set up yesterday, and I got my paperwork at 5:30 last night, so.
We didn't have time to get it as an agenda item this week, but we'll put it on the agenda for approval next week.
Okay, great.
Keep the project moving forward.
All right,
All right,
great.
thanks Judy.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks Randy.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a good day.
Yep.
Anything else to come before the Brown County Commission this morning?
It's fair week, come on out and enjoy.
Yes, it's gonna be a nice week too.
A little shot of rain tomorrow, wouldn't be fair without it.
You
We'll
bet.
see.
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move.
Motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Feldheim, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay, motion carries, we are adjourned.
10 o'clock.